I remember the exact moment when my daughter asked me a question that changed the way I looked at the world. "Mom, what was your childhood like before the internet?" She asked it so casually, sitting on the floor with her tablet glowing in the dim light of our living room. Her fingers moved quickly across the screen as if it were the most natural thing in the world. And maybe for her, it was. But for me, it was. I smiled at first. I wanted to give her a short answer, something simple. But then the memories came back. Slowly. Like an old movie, starting to play in my mind. "I grew up in a very small town," I told her. "The kind of town where everyone knew each other. The kind where the most exciting thing that could happen was when a new family moved in. There was no Wi-Fi, no smartphones, no YouTube. If we wanted to learn something, we had to find it ourselves. And somehow, that made the world feel bigger. Much bigger. I remember the smell of old books in our tiny library. It was the only place in town where we could travel without moving. Every Saturday, my mother would take me there. I was about 10 years old when I discovered the geography section. Huge books filled with pictures of places that felt impossibly far away. Deserts, jungles, waterfalls taller than buildings. I remember staring at a photograph of Niagara Falls for almost 10 minutes. I couldn't believe water could fall like that. It felt like magic. Today, my daughter can watch a 4K video of it in seconds. But back then, it felt like discovering a secret. A week later, I borrowed the book and carried it home like treasure. And that night, I told my little brother stories about the world. I described giant waterfalls, African elephants, and cities where lights never turned off. Of course, half the things I said were probably wrong. But in his eyes, I was an explorer. And in that moment, I believed I was one too. What I didn't realize back then was how small our world really was. Because the truth is, we only knew what we could imagine. Years passed, and the world slowly began to change. I was 16, the first time I saw a computer. It was in our school library. A big gray machine that looked more like a strange television than something magical. Our teacher told us it could connect to something called the internet. At the time, the word meant nothing to me. The internet felt like science fiction. We had to wait in line just to sit at the computer. And when my turn finally came, the screen showed a simple search page. I remember typing something that had fascinated me since childhood. Niagara Falls. The same waterfall I had seen in that old book years earlier. The computer thought for a moment. Then suddenly, images appeared. Hundreds of them. Water crashing down. Mist rising into the air. Rainbows forming above the water. And then there was a video. The first video I had ever seen on the internet. The sound of the water filled the room through the tiny speakers. For the first time in my life, I felt like the world had opened. Like someone had unlocked a door I never knew existed. I stayed there long after my time was up. The teacher had to remind me that other students were waiting. But something had changed inside me. That night I couldn't sleep. Because I realized something incredible. The world was no longer far away. It was right there. Inside that machine. From that day on, I spent every free moment learning. Watching. Reading. Discovering places I never thought I would see. Japan. Brazil. The Sahara Desert. The Great Barrier Reef. The internet became my window to the world. But I never imagined that one day it would become my daughter's entire world. My daughter, Lily, was born in a completely different era. By the time she was 5, she already knew how to use a tablet better than I knew how to use my first computer. She didn't need books to see waterfalls. She didn't need imagination to see elephants. Everything was already there. One tap. One video. One search. And sometimes, I wondered if something had been lost. One evening, I found her sitting alone in the living room, her tablet glowing in the dark, video after video playing endlessly. "Lily," I said softly. She didn't look up. "Just one more video, Mom." I sat next to her. "What are you watching?" "A travel channel," she said. On the screen was a beautiful beach somewhere in Thailand. Clear water, white sand, palm trees swaying in the wind. "Do you want to go there someday?" I asked. She shrugged. "I guess." And that was the moment I realized something strange. For me, seeing the world used to feel like a dream. For her, it felt normal. Too normal. That night, I made a decision. The next morning, I told her we were going somewhere. She looked confused. "Where?" I smiled. "You'll see." 3 hours later, we were standing at the edge of a massive waterfall. The roar of the water filled the air. Mist floated around us like fog, and sunlight created a bright rainbow above the crashing waves. Lily stood completely still, her eyes wide. "Mom," she whispered, "is this real?" I laughed softly. "Yes." She didn't touch her tablet once. Not even once. Instead, she watched the water fall endlessly over the cliff. And for the first time, I saw something in her eyes that reminded me of my childhood. Wonder. Pure wonder. After a few minutes, she turned to me. "You know what's funny?" "What?" "I've seen this place in videos 100 times." She paused. "But it's nothing like this." I nodded. Because some things in life can't be downloaded. Some experiences can't be streamed. And some memories only exist when you're truly there. That day, standing beside my daughter and the thunder of the waterfall, I realized something important. The internet can show us the world, but it will never replace living in it. And maybe the most important thing we can teach our children is when to look up from the screen and start living their own story. On the drive home, Lily was unusually quiet. She stared out of the window the entire time. The tablet that usually never left her hands sat forgotten on the seat beside her. I didn't interrupt her thoughts. Some moments need silence. After about 20 minutes, she finally spoke. "Mom." "Yes." "Why didn't we do things like this before?" Her question hit me harder than she probably realized. I kept my eyes on the road. "I guess life got busy," I said quietly. "Work. Bills. Responsibilities. All those invisible things adults carry every day. And sometimes, without noticing, we start replacing real experiences with convenient ones. A video instead of a trip. A picture instead of a memory. A screen instead of the world." Lily leaned her head against the window. "You know, when the water was falling," she said slowly, "I could feel the ground shaking." I smiled. "Yes." "And the mist got on my face." "Yes." She turned toward me. "You can't feel that in a video." "No," I said. "You can't." She thought for a moment. Then she said something I will probably remember for the rest of my life. "Mom, I think the internet shows us life, but real life feels bigger." I looked at her in the mirror. And in that moment, I realized something beautiful. She understood. Not because I explained it, but because she experienced it. That night, something surprising happened. Instead of going straight to her tablet, Lily opened the old wooden cabinet in the living room. Inside were dusty boxes filled with photographs. Real photographs. Printed ones. She sat on the floor and started looking through them. "Mom," she called. "Is this you?" I walked over and laughed. In the picture, I was maybe 12 years old, standing next to my little brother with messy hair and huge smiles. "Yes," I said. That was taken the summer we built a treehouse. A treehouse? She asked. With our own hands, I said proudly. Did you watch a tutorial? No. Did you look it up online? No. Then how did you know what to do? I shrugged. We didn't. She laughed. So you just guessed? Pretty much. She stared at the photo for a long moment. That must have been scary. It was, I admitted. But it was also exciting. She looked back at the picture again. I want to build something like that someday. And suddenly, a small idea formed in my mind. Maybe, I said slowly. We should. 2 weeks later, we were standing in the backyard with a pile of wooden boards. Neither of us had built a treehouse before. And this time, we didn't watch a single tutorial. Lily held the hammer like it was some kind of ancient tool. Are you sure this will work? She asked. I laughed. I have absolutely no idea. The first board went in crooked. The second one almost fell. At one point, we had to start an entire section over again. But something amazing happened. We were laughing. Really laughing. Not the distracted kind. Not the watching something funny on a screen kind. Real laughter. The kind that echoes through the yard. Hours passed. Then days. And slowly, a tiny treehouse began to appear between the branches. It wasn't perfect. The boards didn't line up. The ladder was slightly uneven. But when we finally climbed inside and sat there together, it felt like the greatest place in the world. Lily looked around proudly. Then she turned to me and said, Mom, this is better than any video. I wrapped my arm around her shoulders. And in that quiet moment, high above the ground, I realized something simple. Technology will keep changing. Screens will get brighter. Videos will get sharper. The internet will keep growing. But the things that truly shape our lives will always be the same. Moments, experiences, and the memories we build with the people we love. And those will never need Wi-Fi.